I know. I'm not able to.
Son of a bitch. Okay. No issues so far.
I'm back. We're still working.
Oh, you changed my name, you Swedish beast that you are.
No, here's the thing, man. We may have show us like how you were talking about how you were having weird recording issues. It's twice now. This will say we've gone live. We go to use our discussion. 3 minutes into it, we realize, wait a sec, no one's watching.
But no live.
There's no chat. Only 50 seconds of whatever would actually make it out, and it was still acting like everything was fine on our end.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was just watching.
We have a lot of problems. So, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in the chat, welcome. We are joined tonight with Super Horror Show, and I've been looking forward to this. I really have, because I first met him on Mike the Naked Bigfoot's channel. I used to see in the chat quite a lot there. And I've also been following you for quite some time now. Could you tell us a wee quick bit about you? First of all, give yourself a bit of a plug first.
Oh, sure. Well, before I ever do anything like this, I mentally, we got a little delayed because there were some technical issues, but it's important that I at least take a moment to think important thoughts like, oh God, don't let this be so terrible. And then, everyone hates me because I messed up this show. There we go. So now that that's out of the way, that's it. Cancel the freaking connection. No, I am half of Super Horror Show, and a lot of what we do it's so weird because there's like two sides to everything, right? There is we're telling stories. Yeah. Some of them are true, some of them are fiction, whatever. And the other half is the idea of we're trying to bring people together. It's an undertow, right? That's an undertow. That's all the plug that I think I need. Well, actually, it's not out yet, but we might be amateur ghost hunters now. I don't know. We went out to Concrete City with a K2 meter and the thermal camera and we brought the stuff because we had it, and so that was interesting. But so amateur ghost hunt. But if I hunt any ghost, I will use every part of the ghost. All right, none of the ghosts will go to waste after I've hunted the ghost. All right, so
ghost slaves, man, dude.
That's it. That's it. I will be like the Native American ghost hunters and use every part of the ghost, all the ectoplasm and whatever else is in there, all the giblets, the ghost giblets.
Hey, whatever you shove in your giblets, we don't need to know.
What a man does with his other giblets is a man's. What does he do? But I've been watching you for quite some time now, Super Horror. I mean, some of the animations that you made were absolutely fantastic. That must have taken a lot of time. It was actually Mike that actually passed it on to me one day. He says, "What do you think of this?" And it was in Twitter. He sent me the message, and I thought, "Oh, this guy's real." I thought you were actually younger. I thought you were only like 16, 17-year-old. The way he spoke about you, because I thought you were actually younger. And then one day I seen you live and I seen you talk, and I was like, Jesus, he's actually quite old, isn't
he? Yeah, I'll be 40 this year.
Oh yeah. Well, join the club. I'm 42.
Mm-hmm.
There's Pete there. There's the man himself, the son of the naked Bigfoot there. So some of the stories you talk about is quite interesting, I must admit. Could you tell us a scary one?
A scary. I'd imagine you want like a scary true story, right? Like that.
Really good. A true story.
Like ideally, we'd want it to be true. Okay, so this one hasn't been animated yet. This one actually came from subscriber, and it was after a Slenderman video that we put up. We put up a collection of Slenderman stories, and she said, now you have to remember this memory is old and faded, but it's a comment on, and that video doesn't even
that happens
exist
when you get
anymore.
older.
That's the truth. So she said that I think it was someone, a relative of hers, maybe great grandfather, something like that, was doing something around like railroad tracks or something along those lines, and he goes into a place and sees a man there with no face, like Slenderman, but dressed in older clothes. And I was like, wow, that would be a great thing to animate. But that was pretty frightening. Princess Marlena, I think, is the person that left the comment. Almost positive it was her. She leaves a lot of them. Also, Amy comments quite a bit. There's actually more than one Amy. Amy Princess of Power, I think, is sent in a story too. But that one right there, the grandfather, great grandfather, walking in, and I think the guy like turned around or something, and it's just no face, like bloody hell. So that's a pretty good one. You have to remember too, when I tell a story, anytime that you're not directly, like people, if I go and I show a video of like a lion, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not scary. But if the lion was in front of you, you'd pee yourself.
Oh,
like,
Christ, aye.
Yeah. So
you were like a Big Mac. The cannibals landed in front of you.
That's it. So when I am putting together a story, whether real or otherwise, there's so much pressure for audio, atmosphere, to really bring someone to that moment. And thank you very much for enjoying the animation. It takes it's between 1 and 50 hours for every minute of animated video. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, really. Wow, between 1 and 50 hours. I did not know that.
I didn't.
Yep. I made these like really micro horror films, and that stuff was done doing what's it called? Motion capture. I have very archaic motion capture, right? But it has to be cleaned up still. Yeah. So I think one of them is like 40 seconds long, and that was around 25 hours to put together, to create the characters, to create the setting, to make sure the lights were correct. And I'm going to be 100% honest. If you show it to other animators, they'll still find things that I did wrong there. I'm being honest. Like that's what it is. It's like that should have been changed. This over here, this is incorrect.
I like that one that you did. Oh, I think it was a wee while ago. It started off as like a little house. I can't remember what the story was. It started off as a little house, and it went to a skeleton sitting in front of the fire. You know the one I'm talking about?
That's my host right there. A few of them will start that way. But that's my guy. He's cool.
Who have we all got in the chat there? We've got Sonny. What's that? Sonny the Naked Bigfoot says there. That's quite interesting. That's so.
Hey, there goes Princess Marlena.
Slenderman's dad profiled Smiley Dog. Goes, what is it, you and Smile Dog Pete? But he always
Pete
has
likes
a
doggy.
special attraction to Slender Dude. That thing that, because you've had the honor interviewing Mike the Naked Bigfoot.
We had the honor
too. But a lot of weird things happened to you. Could you tell us a wee bit about that? Because he told me after what happened, but tell the audience, because it was just scary.
So I think it was like last year around this time, if not just slightly after, I was having like different content creators come on, and I stopped only because I realized the time of the day that it was very inconvenient for a lot of people. So, but Mike did come on, and I really just wanted to pick his brain about things, because he's like an encyclopedia for all kinds of things. But I had him on, and we joked around. It was right when that Amber Heard thing was going on, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
Oh.
Yeah, and oh gosh, we had a lot of fun that day. I showed him, I put up a video of her when she pulled one of those, and I was like, I gotta know, do you think? And he's like, she put a nickel clean in her nose. It went right up her nose. But that was it was then, and that's still up on my channel. We're talking about him being a voodoo priest. I think it's Ugong, maybe. Does anyone know?
Hudon? No, it's Hugan. It's Hugan, aye, and then voodoo.
Not Huga. What the?
So
Hugan, innit? I'm going to get haunted by him tonight after lunch.
Man. But so we're talking, I had questions like what depiction of voodoo in Hollywood is the most accurate, just lots of different things, and then we just got cut. Like my feed just got cut. And this is not something I've gone live, not a very large amount of time, but you can go and look. I've gone live plenty of times. There was one point where I was doing it minimum 1 hour a week, never ever got cut.
Yep.
But all of my stuff shut down. I reached out to him on my phone immediately, like, don't go. I'm gonna try everything I can on my end, right? And we eventually got the show back up, and it was just another stream. And I think, trying to remember the words he used, I think he said he could hear a girl saying that I was fascinating, maybe, or interesting, something along those lines. And I think it was almost immediately afterwards I was cut.
Ken,
So.
it's strange you say this, super horror. What's your first name, by the way? What's your first name?
Oh, I'm Mike. What's going on?
Mike on Mike.
Mike. I heard the voice there. 10:59 exactly. I've got these because I'm getting older, I'm getting deeper, and it's maybe because I listen to too much music, but I've got them turned up quite high. I'm sure at 10, as you say, 10:59, I heard a man saying something, or was it a woman saying something?
Sounded more like a man.
We get this a lot.
Actually, sounded like Mike, to be honest.
It did sound like Mike. That's interesting. This happens a lot in your show.
Someone cue the music.
Cue the music. We'll actually go. I wish we'll need to put some like horror music into this, because we can actually play it.
You should have told me.
A lot of weird things they happen with Mike on our show. I mean, there'd be times we would turn into like a Cylon, where his voice would just go weird.
Yeah.
Oh, son of the naked Bigfoot, tomorrow is Dad's birthday. Dad would have been 60. Oh my God.
Damn.
Oh, I didn't ken. What's the odds?
He was old enough to be my grandfather.
I thought he was actually younger. Do you know that? I actually thought Mike was in his 50s. I honestly did. I thought he was only about 50, 52, 51.
You also thought I was older than you when we met.
Right, but come on. You do look a bit older than me. But that's weird. That is strange, super horror, because it's like, do you feel anything about you in the nude? Because there's a lot of weird things that happen in this show.
So my wife and I have a lot of conversations about this. When it comes to like feelings and things like that, I do have them, but it's rarer. And the reason why is like whenever I go into a place, I perform a very quick cost-benefit analysis and assessment, and I determine if there's anybody in that space or anything in that space that I should be concerned about, right? And if the answer is no, then I'm not worried about anything. And if the answer is yes, then I just have to watch that one thing or two things that I should be mindful of. So one of the things that happened and the video's not out yet, but when she's done editing it will be, we were talking about feelings afterwards, and she said, "What were you feeling?" And I said, funny enough, the reason why I kept telling you what to say is because I felt like I was an intimidating presence there. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I told you, like, if her and I are there and she has the K2, clearly anything in the environment can also hear me. But I felt like I could feel that I was like a threatening force. So I went ahead and I pulled out the flashlight, and I have, it might be around here, it doesn't matter. I have an infrared thermometer, right? Like a laser thermometer. So I picked it up and I was like, ask if this is offensive. And it reacted. And I was like, is the flashlight offensive? So I put those away because I wanted to make sure I appeared non-threatening. But as a whole, there's energy everywhere. You know what I mean? Like everything is everywhere. So I don't have to feel something to be aware that there is something there. if I do feel something, it's one of those things where it's like, am I experiencing this experience because I need to be mindful of this thing in the environment? And if the answer is yes, then it's, well, why do I have to be, is this thing, like, am I being stalked? Is this thing trying to watch me? Is this thing trying to size me up? And then I will react depending on what I am feeling at that moment. If I think this thing is trying to size me up, I'm going to take up more space. I'm going to increase the volume of my voice. I'm going to react that way so it understands that I am prepared to go toe to toe.
That was strange. That was strange. Did any of you hear that? Somebody.
No, but I did see just what looked like a face pop over Mike's left shoulder.
That was weird because I've got a box sitting next to me and I keep like ghost hunting equipment and I heard this. 3 taps. That's very strange.
Now I want to get my wife out here and grab like the K2 meter. She'll know where all of it is. Also, this room is very dark. I like to set the mood lighting for you guys. You know what I mean? Like a little something special for my buddies Chris and Dakota. You know what I mean? It's a little special.
There's Pete, son of the naked Bigfoot. Maybe something was there observing you guys that wasn't a spirit. See, that's the thing. Doesn't need to be a ghost. Hey,
do you want to bring the K2 meter over here?
Yeah, I was listening.
Oh, okay. Hey, the other half of Super Horror Show is going to be here for like a half second, maybe, or maybe more than a half second. I don't know. But you heard me say the K2 meter.
So, something happened?
I need another can of that, bro.
I'll just leave this. Wait, can we see this even? Yeah, we'll just have this nearby, right? I don't want to hold it like this forever because.
Ooh.
Hello.
That's not a common thing. We have been all over this room actually testing the meter because of the way it was going off.
Wow.
That's interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
You want to come in the shot or?
Here, can I see it?
If you do, you can
plug.
plug.
I want to see something.
Sure.
What was going off? Let me see if it. Make sure it's not the computer. It's not going off by the computer.
I love you so much, but we can't do all the science right now because
live.
we're live.
I know.
But this is kind of
But
like
look, it stopped.
and he said a face. Were you listening on the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, the face over my left shoulder. This is.
Yeah.
Huh.
But who is it? The question lies, and it's like Mike says, the night has teeth.
Just went back on the chat. There was something just off your shoulder.
Off your shoulder.
I believe it. I believe it 100%. But I mean, that's one of the things. Go on.
I heard that chat. I heard the 3 knocks just as Dakota spied that on your shoulder. That's just like that. Aye.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. But I don't think. To be honest opinion, I don't think it's anything bad. I think it might just be a friend.
I mean, it's possible, but I have spoken about how I believe that all of us are being stalked. That they're like essentially pre-infestation is like a constant state. Now, I don't want if you haven't seen that video, haven't heard me speak before, that doesn't mean everyone needs to be afraid because you're also being watched by good things too. But
oh yeah,
we're all like it's like the Truman Show. Each and every one of us is like the Truman Show. We're being watched, and there is text that essentially implies that there is a war that goes on all around us all the time, and what we're seeing physically is actually like the shadows of this war. So I would not be surprised in the slightest. But and the reason why I'll put out that I'm not worried, even if it was a terrifying face, right? Because what if that's what happened, right? I'm not worried about that because I've had my own experiences. Actually, we'll talk about that right now. So I was maybe 17 years old, and my stepsister, who was much older than me, she was married, And she was
Yeah.
watching some show, it might have been MTV or something, because they would have these shows every now and then. They were talking about incubus and succubus, right? And she was like, there you go. This guy knows where this is going. So they were talking about this, and they were like, well, this is what this is and whatever. So she goes and calls my mom and starts saying, I don't know what I would ever do if this happened to me. And then, bloody hell, like the next day she calls my mom. She's like, oh my God, like I have no. And I was like, well, she should never have said out loud, I don't know what I would do, because these things can hear you. They're not reading your thoughts, but they can hear your words. And so then my mom's like, well, what would you have done? And I was like, I gave her the list of things I would do, but a lot of them were vocal. Also, I was 17, I think my 17th birthday or my 16th birthday, my dad got me a book on American Sign Language. I was curious about it, and it was a cheap birthday gift. He was a very frugal person, so a $20 book was, oh, here you go, you're interested in this, so, thumbs up, not complaining. Oh, no, he went away. Oh, man.
Oh, this is getting interesting.
It's all right. We're gonna keep going. So, anyhow, in sign language, I taught myself how to say I am brave, but not I am. So in sign language, I can only express bravery. I do not actually have the tools to express fear intelligently, silently. I can, like everybody else can, but you understand, like for bravery, it's I am brave, right? So, it wasn't the next night, but it was, we'll say within a week, right? That's fair. That's a fair time frame. I was asleep and I felt this pressure on my chest. And I had this friend named Mike, not me. There was another Mike. There's a lot of us.
Clearly.
Yeah, we're everywhere. We're taking over. I felt this pressure on my chest. Mike would spend the night a lot. I dropped out of high school when I was 17 years old. So there was no go to, you know what I mean? Like he was over a lot. I thought that he was putting pressure on me. Like I thought he was like screwing around with me. Every now and then at night we do something stupid. Like one time I fired I had a paintball gun, right? No paintballs in. Wow. Oh man. Hello? Okay. So
it's because Chris may be back. I don't know. Something about
okay,
how we
well,
have it set up.
He looks very happy and blue. So I took the paintball gun without being loaded, but the CO2 comes out with a lot of pressure, and I shot him in the crotch with it as a joke. All right, so not fun for him. He got scared, right? But it was harmless. It's just harmless pranks in the middle of the night, right? With your buddies. So
well, that was interesting.
It was. You're back?
It was. Everything just went off.
I know. I saw his signal just drop, and I'm just like, Chris.
I thought
the computer went off. The computer went off. My 5G kicked in my phone, and then that went off. 5G went off, and the internet in the house went off. Both at the exact same time.
That's actually probably ridiculously close to what happened when I had Mike the Naked Bigfoot on. Just like that. But I didn't have somebody else to...
I went down the stairs and the router was all in red, which I've never seen before.
Ooh.
So somebody had flicked off the switch and then flicked it back on again.
Goodness. So...
Where are you, Mike?
So I felt this pressure... Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah. No, go finish your story because I'm...
all right.
Honestly.
Well, the good news is you didn't miss anything important because I can waffle for hours.
That's okay. We'll get ages.
So I felt this pressure on my chest, and my immediate reaction was to push him off. I was very tired, so but when I threw my arms out, there was nothing there. Okay, so when I tell this story to people, a lot of people, oh, this is sleep paralysis. It's like, okay, but my arms functioned 100%. That's how this started, with my arms functioning. So then I immediately think like, oh, okay. This happened to my stepsister. Nothing crazy, but like I was like, so something demonic happened to my stepsister. Now something's happening to me. So I get ready to talk, and all of a sudden the pressure moves from my chest. I feel my head is being forced back, but by my jaw, so I can't open my mouth. If you can, you know what I mean? Like, and the pressure was incredible. It was an obscene amount of pressure, but my arms still functioned. But my plan was to very loudly get up and start saying words, right? To make myself bigger, right? I can't, I'm being pinned, my head is being pushed back. So I start signing I am brave over and over. All right. Like just nonstop. I am brave. And then what it let go. Whatever it was. And then I stood, it's like, all right, like if that's how it's gonna be, then that's how it's gonna be. So being that I have experienced this, if something is watching me and it's not willing to apply physical pressure to me, then I know it's not strong enough because I know it doesn't like me. You know what I'm saying? I already know you don't like me. If you wanted to go and brawl with me and you were strong enough to, you would, but you're not going to because I'm not saying there is nothing strong enough. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying if it was, I would get socked in the face or pushed down the steps or on one of the other things you see, like one of the other tropes, one of those would happen to me. But the fact that it's not happening to me, that means that I'm fine. Well, enjoy the mic show, right? And enjoy what you're seeing. Have a good time. So even if it was something scary, I'm cool. Looking bigger to some things makes you more appealing to them and tastier. That's fine by me. Listen,
I can't wait to interview people. I mean, you think about it. I mean, Mike, you would tell me stories. We would sit on Twitter at night, and I would talk to him, and he would tell me about things that lived in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Things that would put chills into people that didn't know about these things. To think what's really out there, which is watching you. I mean, Dakota knows. I know some stuff of what Mike's telling me, and you and Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
But to think of the dark things, and it's true what you say, it is kind of like a war because you've got the good spirits and the good entities that's maybe following you about, that's maybe trying to protect you. But at the same time, you've also got the evil entities.
So when I think about that, right? Bob Proctor, who passed away, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he talks about like law of attraction sort of thing. And the way he refers to things, he talks about vibrations, right? And he talks about how low vibrations are much weaker than high vibrations. If you could, so it's one of those things where a lot of it would take a lot of evil to darkness cannot be turned on. If like when I turn on a light switch, the light fills the area. Darkness is the absence of light. You can't shine darkness into something. So it takes very little light to like guard you from the things that would love to harm you. You know, they would love nothing more, but it takes very little light. So that's, positive thinking, very important.
I mean, there is some really dark entities out there. I mean, there's obviously. Have you ever heard the story that Mike talked about, and it was called? Is it the Red Hatter? You know the one I'm talking about? About where it happened to him, Pete. I don't know if you can help me in the chat. Where he was walking through the woods, and a guy came towards him wearing a red hat, and it tried to get him to follow him into the woods. See things like that. Things that you think about all these people that disappear. You think about all these people that go into, like, obviously some of them have accidents in like national parks and stuff like that, they fall down holes and they get eaten by mountain lions and things like that. But there is a percentage of people that just disappear and they're never ever seen again. What's your thoughts on that?
So I've spoken to a friend of mine about this sort of thing, and he's thought about these things way more than I do. Okay. And there's a chance that maybe we'll get kicked off, but by someone that has power to flip the switch on different websites, just saying, he was talking about how he believes that a lot of this is the government, and the goal is to acquire resources that can be traded with aliens. That we have resources here that are very rare, and also there's experimentation. There's the human hybrid, the chimeras and things like that. But yeah, he one day, and it made my son got nervous. He thought he was a crazy person. He had no idea. It's like, no, listen, not only do I know that person, that person is a millionaire. He actually showed in I think it was like 2017, like when all the stocks kicked up, he was like, I'm a millionaire. And it's like, wait, what is it? And he showed me, it was like, this is incredible. Congrats on being a millionaire. It's like, that's a millionaire right there that just walked up to me that way. And he was very excited. He was like, they're kidnapping people and they're performing experiments, making them work in these mines. They're forcing them to procreate because then that person will never go missing because they're not registered. Right. And he's, oh gosh. And so there's also, there's certain maps. If you look where people tend to go missing a lot, like if you were to put like the pins like they do on TV for people that go missing, there are these hot spots, and they also happen to fall on would the word be ley lines? I don't know what the correct, but there are
really,
and a lot of these cave systems, people have suggested that they are connected. So you have cave up here and cave down here, and this is like across the U.S. And he's suggesting, well, these people are being funneled in this way. So
I've heard that one. I don't know where I heard it. Was it you that tell me that, Dakota, about people getting abducted, and then their memory getting wiped, so as they could go and work in mines for like extraterrestrials, or was it somewhere else? I heard that.
It's a thing.
So obviously there's a lot of abductees out there. I mean, like obviously like the UFO, they're abducting somebody, taking them away, wiping their brains, basically turning them into an autonomous robot, and making them work down mines to mine their precious metals, which they need.
Yeah.
There's been. I would love to bring up the topic, hey, Bigfoot. I mean, what's your opinion on Bigfoot? Obviously, because that's a great subject.
I am convinced of Bigfoot. When I was in college, I wrote this paper about Bigfoot, like pro Bigfoot, and sadly, that was a very long time ago, right? But I went into the one piece of evidence that I really liked is there was a tribe, I think it was in South America, where their pottery reflected things that were real. Like some tribes, they have like, the people with wings and eagle heads and whatnot. But this tribe, the things that they created were generally things that you would see. And so they had different like animals, and they had human, and they had monkey, and they had one that was kind of like a hybrid. And so I was like, what, we can't find this animal here, but all these other bits, okay. Wow.
Now he's gone now.
Yeah, and I just watched your bars flicker. Okay.
That is very interesting. See, Bigfoot's always intrigued me. The stories that Mike would tell me about his farm and the things on his farm, and obviously the apple tree. That's something that always intrigued me. That tree must have a purpose. That tree must have a purpose, because Mike was a botanist, right? He knew his plants. And he couldn't identify that apple tree anywhere. So what was the purpose of the apples?
So I was actually just talking about some Bigfoot stuff yesterday when I was live. And did you get to that part? Were you there for that, or?
I've never had that yet. I watched it.
Okay, all right. So, I think it's literally, it's a boundary like that. Like, well, he describes like a boundary. So lots of animals understand boundaries, right? And yesterday I told this story. I got it from a book that was allegedly all true, right? And in the book, I'm not going to go into the story in great detail. Actually, I didn't even do it yesterday in great detail because I read it so long ago. But I do have the book. I have it on Kindle, so I do have the record. But it sounded like a bunch of, we'll say, not completely mature males getting rowdy. Bigfoot, right? Mm-hmm. And the things that happened in this story, whoa, okay.
That's just the Dakota coming back again from beyond the veil.
Hey, Chris.
He's back.
There's three
He's
Christophers
back.
here.
He's back.
What happened?
So,
Let's see.
anything
There's a lot
happened?
of weird stuff.
Well, my K2, even though it is dead and unplugged from the battery, started lighting up by itself.
Oh, yeah.
The connection flipped. Power bump, which I can't really disassociate from the blizzard we got going on right now. So
I think someone's with us. To be purely honest with you, I have to say, I think someone's with us. Who? I do not know. I'm hoping it's Mike. And he's just doing it for a joke to say that he's here, because I've got a feeling he would do that in a nice way. But you were saying about Bigfoot.
Oh yeah, so there were lions when the males grow to be where they're not cubs anymore, but they're not like full grown adults. They get kicked out of the pride, right? You only have one, and then you have all the female, the lionesses, and these all male adolescent type. We'll call them a pride. So maybe they're still a pride. They're still a group of lions. They will make trouble. They will kill cubs. Lion cubs, like overnight. They'll kill and then like just play with them and whatnot. Like they are complete menaces. And that's what it sounded like was going on in this story. Now, at the beginning of the story, I'm selling it so poorly, when they went camping in this place, they were given places where they were allowed to camp. You can camp here, you can camp here, you can camp here. Don't camp anywhere else. And the problem was they went to a place where they weren't supposed to go, but it was kind of like beyond like the camping spots. So they were like, no one's going to confront them on what they've done. And it was a beautiful place by the lake. So when I read that story and then knowing, about these male adolescent lion prides, right? Actually, I mean, I think they're post-pubescent. Is adolescence post-pubescent? I don't even know. We'll say, older males, almost mature. The activities look the same. And when you look at like, you can actually find other parallels. Like I understand that cats and apes and primates are not the same things, but you can actually find patterns between them, even between humans and Dr. Jordan Peterson has a book, 12 Rules for Life or something like that. In it, he talks about lobsters and the way that lobsters function. And he's like, well, the reason why we can actually learn something from this is because this is a very primitive circuit that actually exists in a human's brain. Yeah. Right. But we can actually observe it a lot clearer here because it's not clouded with all the human stuff. It's a very simple circuit here where for us, we have the simple circuit and then we have all this higher functioning on top of it. And it's almost like it's being suppressed, right, by our higher reasoning. Yeah. So I believe 100% in Bigfoot, and part of this belief that Mike the Naked Bigfoot's data supported was they understand boundaries. Yes. They understand boundaries, and I don't know, like I'm not a Bigfoot hunter. I've never seen Bigfoot, anything like that. I don't know what their mating rituals would look like or anything like that, but it does look like a bunch of teens went out and ripped somebody apart.
Look what Pete's put in the room. Dad's little girl, I think, is in the room right now. I always wondered what happened to her. I mean, obviously she must have went somewhere when Mike passed.
I mean, she could be hanging around looking after Pete.
That's what I'm thinking. What do you mean? She just asked you, Dakota, if you could see her?
I could just hear, starting from about 3608, there was constant whispers. The clearest one was, do you see me?
I must have indicated it was Mike's birthday, the more of that's. It's weird how this is all fitting in. Very strange. It's, I don't know. I just keep looking behind you, Super Horror. I keep as if there's something there. I don't know. Go and do us a favour and hold up your EMF meter.
Just gonna very slowly. See, you know what I hate about this is. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. I'm just gonna see, because as someone that is scientific and sometimes skeptic, it's like, well, how do I know what's his other hand doing? Like, his other hand's not doing anything.
Yeah.
His cell phone is over here. Like, I don't have any toys with me. I mean, like this, obviously, but like I'm not holding electronics in my lap or anything odd.
There's Pete. I thought that she had went with Dad, but as of late, I have my suspicions.
So,
see, I'm wondering, is she maybe sticking around Pete, looking after Pete?
See, I wish we could talk to him clearer than the comments right now, but I'll just put this out there, and he can ponder this. What we have to consider is what was her purpose, her function. All right, like she, because if something's sentient, then it has goals, right? When something we are goal oriented beings, and I'm not saying she's the same as us, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, so what was her purpose? And even with Mike the Naked Bigfoot not existing like here the way that we've seen him, like the way we're used to, right? The way that we understand it the clearest. If her purpose is specifically tied to Mike, then yes, she's going to carry on. But if her purpose was not, I mean, for all we know, they could have been, what would the word be? Symbiotic. They could have been helping each other. Yeah. And if that's what we're looking at there, it would be very difficult for us to analyze, because we don't know outright her purpose, right? So we could be seeing her and thinking that, oh, well, it looks like she is here to do these things with Mike, for Mike, right? But because we can't see the other half, we don't understand it's a symbiotic relationship. And if that's what it is, she could be looking for somebody else to like carry on in Mike's
ride.
Yeah. And if that's the case,
Mike would say.
And if that's the case, then Pete would be a very attractive option, because Pete has access to all of Mike's things. Yes. And that's actually the thing that it's what's been bothering me. This is what's been on my mind now for maybe like a week. The power that is in things, mundane, ordinary things, because of intention, right? So I'm not a Buddhist, but Buddhist monk Ajahn Brahm talks about how karma is intention. And when he said those words, it was very profound to me, because I could not understand karma, but I can understand intention, right? So, and if you think like a possessed doll, right? On the truth about beer, this is an item that has like energy attached to it. It's in the item. It's around the item. It's part of the item. I don't know how we would separate it from the item.
It's kind of like Annabelle the doll too. It's kind of like Annabelle the doll too. It's absorbed like a demonic entity.
It's so. If Mike, let's go with Mike the Naked Bigfoot. He probably created tools, right? Things that he would use for things that, again, are beyond my understanding, right? Those tools, after he created them with that intention and then used them in that way, that they function now in this way, right? They are almost like primed to do this thing. Mike hated Julie the Haunted Doll.
Mate, there's Papa Joe's. Yeah. See, that's see, obviously, you ken and I ken all the things that Mike had. I mean, that brick from that house where the 2 murders took place. He had that stone face where he found when he was in the Caribbean. He found it in a house and he was looking for like stuff that he'd taken out the chimney. I mean, he's got lots of things. I mean, he's got human teeth that belong to murderers. He's got things there that are scary as fuck, right? Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
And Pete's obviously got access to this, and I hope he never lets Andy touch it, because obviously it's dangerous in the wrong hands. But I'm wondering if it's hanging about. I don't think it is a little, and I'm going to say this personally, I don't think it is a little girl. I think it just presented itself as a little girl to Mike. Right? I think it was something far older than anything. I think it's been here ever since the earth was made, right? And it's probably been here before the earth was made. I think it's ancient, because Mike would tell us that it was ancient. And I think it's looking for somebody to latch onto. I honestly do.
I mean, for lack of imagination, let's say Mike carved a wooden spoon, and he would use this for something. Again, for something faith-based. There we go. For something faith-based. This is this, and he used it that way, and it could have been either pleasing or beneficial to this entity. It would make sense for her to hang around and just hope that Pete starts picking up the spoon. And the thing is, with items that are like imbued with intention, is that they naturally tend to, there's less resistance with them. Like, do you understand? Like if I have a hammer and this hammer belonged to a great carpenter,
yes.
I honestly believe that I would have an easier time using this hammer than maybe a hammer that is just some machine made off the line. I think there would be more resistance there.
See, but then the problem falls on Pete. If Pete doesn't want this entity, if he's happy the way he is, and he doesn't want to have the little girl, or it could possibly portray itself as a little boy, it could portray itself as a little girl, it could portray itself as anything really, whatever it wants, that's going to make him think, oh, what's that? Okay, I mean, but if he doesn't want that, where will it go? It'll obviously find someone else that's still got the kind of mystical powers. Because let's face it, Mike's son Pete, he is quite mystical, because he can see spirits. I know he can, and the things that he knows about the spirit world and stuff, And Dakota's gone into a trance now. I don't know if you've noticed. I think there's something. You okay, Dakota? See, this happens. It's happened a few times, especially with Mike in the room.
There we go.
He
just said,
yeah. Son of the Naked Bigfoot. Dad's tools want to be used. It's weird. It's like a compulsion when you walk into Dad's study.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But see, the thing is, so I was watching Pawn Stars, and there was Madonna's like little black book, right? And they want, like, it was worth some crazy, and I was like, I would never pay that amount, but I write, right? Yeah. I am a writer. One person that I'm very fond of, I like Michael Schur. I also like Mindy Kaling. I like The Office. I like the American The Office.
That's right.
And so if this pencil, right, if Michael Schur used this pencil to write like a really great episode, I'd give you $200 for this pencil. I seriously would. It's like why? Because I know this pencil. It's got the thing inside of it. All right. I'm not saying that I would magically become a great writer overnight, or that my stuff would be funnier. I'm telling you that it's going to lend itself to me. Right.
I think what Pete says, and then I'm just going to, after this, I'll go to Dakota. But what Pete says, it's as if it's drawn. He's drawn to the tools in his dad's room, right? And it's is if you pick those tools up, like for instance, you pick his like medicine bowl up. I don't know if he's got a medicine bowl, but say he used to make mix herbs and stuff like that. You might get the knowledge that comes with that. You might get the knowledge. You're like, well, let's face it, Mike was like a the Guinness Book of Records. He knew everything. Right? He just knew everything. Anything that ever happened, he knew. And he was a great person to take on a quiz. I think if Pete starts doing that in his dad's room, he'll gain all his abilities. Eventually.
I think that if he just sat there and started touching, like handling gently,
yeah,
a little bit of reverence, yes, I do think it's naturally going to start doing what it wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs permission first, though, I think. I think that's honestly, I think that's what it's looking for. It needs permission. And the only way it's going to get permission is for Pete, if you're listening, to get into that room and touch stuff. Dakota, do you have any messages for us?
Pete is feeling the compulsion because of it's a DNA match. He starts to use it, letting himself just work on with whatever the object is supposed to do. Slowly it'll start coming to him. But everything that Pete's been afraid of to acknowledge, that's slowly starting to make itself known again, will come in full force. She's there to try to help him because she fully believes that he is going to take that step soon.
There's a message for Pete. We locked up Dad's library last week. Scary shit on those shelves.
I'd be interested in knowing.
You probably meant.
I'd be interested in knowing. Do you guys know where Pete falls on the birth order? Is he the only child of Mike the Naked Bigfoot?
No, I
Doesn't he have a sister?
Pete, do you have a sister? I'm wondering if Pete's the oldest, though.
That's what I'm saying. Is Pete technically would be the scion? Is he the firstborn? Something interesting too.
It's kind of like it's kind of like the film The Green Lantern, isn't it? Where he gets the ring, it gives him the power. If he walks in, if he starts using his dad's stuff, and then goes into that library and starts reading those books, he'll get the power. He'll get the power of what Mike had. Because let's face it, Mike was an outstanding person.
Exactly what I thought.
He's firstborn.
He is a scion, all right. That's special. I mean, it's very easy. Like I said, if we put on a video of a lion, no one's scared. If you're right in front of the lion, it's much scarier. But I remember, I think it was on Twitter, Pete was just saying about it was a house and he didn't go in. His dad said never go in there. I think it was a house that Mike the Naked Bigfoot was born in.
Yeah.
There we go. I would respect everything that Mike the Naked Bigfoot taught me. You know what I mean? I would pay attention to that because one thing that our parents do, right, is parents make mistakes and then it's don't go in there. This is dangerous. But all the other stuff that you were not explicitly told, don't go in there. This is dangerous. That's for you. You know what I mean? Like, how can a servant be better than their master, right? How can an apprentice be better than their master? One of the reasons why an apprentice can outgrow the master is a master can take an entire lifetime to figure something out that can be expressed in a couple of days, right? Yeah. So now you have this lifetime of data and you can continue carrying the torch because you're younger, and the torch gets to move forward because of that.
Yeah. I mean, if I was with Mike and he says, do not go into that room over there, I wouldn't get into it because I know what lurks in the darkness. Mm-hmm. I know what's there because of Mike, because of what he's told me. Because he's told me a lot of stuff that I've not talked about, that we used to talk about in Twitter and stuff. I mean, I mean, what bit of advice would you, Dakota Super Horror, what would you say for Pete the new that if he's listening? What should he do?
Just be careful if he goes to take that step. The saying goes, the second you see them, they see you.
Super Horror, what do you think?
I told you guys where it lies with me. I would listen. I would pay attention to every warning. And I'm not saying I'd be ready to do it right now either. You know what I mean? But there's ideally there would be a time where it's time. You know, it's time to. Because also what Dakota said about when you see them, they see you. This is true. But when you know that they're there, right? When you have that data, it's weird to not push forward, in my opinion. I mean, everybody's different.
That's what Pete says. Not to.
That's why I would listen to. Yes, listen. No, I
know
100%. Yes, and that's why I said listen to every warning. Don't go into that house he told you not to go to. Don't think I'm my dad and now I'm going to, because it'll end just like it ended for your dad, right? That's the natural progression. The things he told you to be wary of them and respect those things.
But the question is, what did your dad say to you, Pete, before he passed? Did he say, don't open my cabinet with all my stuff in it and don't read any of the books? Or did he say, it's up to you, son, if you want to take on what I was doing? What did he say to you?
That's what Mike was always saying when he was on with us, is that he would like his son to carry on the torch, but he realizes his son also knows all the risks. So that's going to be a choice that he has to make. When it's one of these things that he can't just dip his toe in and say, "Oh, I'm good." The second he dips his toe in, something's dragging him in the water.
That sounds accurate. Yeah.
I know it sounds aggressive, but that's been my experience with this stuff.
Well, you have to remember he is surrounded by these items with this in it. So like we're somebody else where it's like, oh, I can kind of like I can take my lantern and go into the woods, and where the light falls, I can see a couple steps and take another step. It might be a little more like a slide where he's.
I mean, let's put it this way, Super Horror, Dakota. If you were in Mike's kind of like wee museum thing that he's got, right, would you touch anything or would you look at anything? To be truthful.
Curiosity would get the better of me, but I would be carrying something with me.
You ask me one more time. I think, let me go put the volume up just a hair. Say that again.
Super Horror. If you were in Mike's museum, or like his museum, and you seen all these wonderful, haunted, strange objects, right, that had strange stories attached to them, some extremely dangerous, some just normal kind of spirits, right? Would you have that in your head to think, oh, what's it going to hurt if I pick up this stone face in a wee bag that Mike showed us once?
I would. I have way too much respect for things to ever think anything close to that in the video that's not out yet. After having what I think was a conversation, I left a little bit of chocolate behind, and I understand the ghost cannot, but it smells good. And if they were ever human, then they have a memory. There's an understanding there. It's kindness, right?
Yeah.
If I was in the museum of Mike the Naked Bigfoot, I would be very interested in any and all of the books. The objects that are there, it's not that it's not about being afraid of them. It's about having respect for what they are. If I had need for one of those objects, let's pretend I had a problem and I read one of Mike's books, and it's like the answer is you want to hold that object, and these are the words, and this is the intention you have in your heart and in your mind when you do this, and this should I would 100% pick up that object if I was given consent and use it in the way that it was meant to be used. but I would not go and just start touching and like lick the back of this is mine.
It's the situation. Is this the situation? Obviously, one. I don't know what age Pete is. I don't know what age you are, Pete. But one day you're going to get old, Pete. And if you don't get married, you're not going to have any kids. What you got to do with the objects? What you got to do with them?
Oh man,
Bury them in the woods, and then maybe in a couple of 100 years, some unsuspecting person walking through the woods will goes, "Oh, what's that over there?" and starts digging it up and picks them up out the box and starts holding them and touching them, and then before they know it, they're fucked, basically, kind of thing. You know, I mean, what do you do with some stuff like that? Do you find someone else to look after it? That's what I need.
as a parent, I will tell you that one of the things that maybe it's a benefit of being a parent is that I have someone that literally starts where I end. Where my reach ends, there's somebody else there.
Yes.
And
same to say. Oh my god!
I'm sure
you
he
don't
would
know what
take.
you're doing, Pete. Can you imagine?
I think
what
he
your
knows
dad would do
damn
if
well.
Zach Bacon-
I think Pete knows damn well what would happen.
Oh my god! Yeah, must have
Museum
that.
would definitely be worth it.
I would, if I was a spirit, I would love to see that. I'd be standing next to Bike saying, "Right, let's go." He's going to grab the face. I mean,
so not trying to pressure Pete or anything, but that is the truth. I have also one of the things I think about is people starting where other people end, and I think about this in terms of like even significant others. Like it's like, you know, when you're with somebody, they start where you. It's incredible the amount of intertwined people really are. Whether they're generationally or I don't know. It's something that I do give thought to.
Yeah.
Fairly often.
I think. I mean, you're still quite young yet. I'm 42. Dakota's 136. No, he's only 20. He's still in his 20s. He's still in his 20s. But you're still quite young yet. Obviously, one day in your travels, you're going to come up against stuff like that. You're going to find stuff like that, like dolls that are haunted or bits of rock that are like got curses on them. And will you start your own haunted collection? What's that there? It's in the chat for Pete. So I'm just waiting for it to pop up this side. There's some, is that teeth that would make Zach bleed out his. You bugger. I mean, would you consider super hard? Would you consider starting your own kind of haunted museum, like the Warrens Museum or like Mike's Museum?
I'm sorry, one more time? I'm so sorry.
What was that?
I don't know what that was.
What was that? It was when I said the Warrens. Mike had a run-in with because I can't pronounce her name.
Lorraine.
He's met her. That was weird. That I thought I heard that. I thought I heard the voice there. I thought I
just saw something black flash across my screen again.
Yeah, I never seen that, but I thought I heard the voice. I thought I heard saying. But Super Horror, will you? Obviously, you're still quite young yet, and you'll be getting into the world of the paranormal and the strange and unusual. Will you start collecting your own stuff if you find it?
Oh, I mean, of course, I don't have a paranormal collection right now per se, but I have a vial of water from when I went to Niagara Falls, and you know, like I collect these. Like the waterfall water is very powerful, right? Yeah. So there are a couple of waterfalls around here. I'm sure they'll end up on my channel as we go hiking them. And like I don't care if it's cold outside. I'm wetting my hair with this water. So I would definitely collect. We'll call them powerful objects. Definitely.
Just for the record, we don't have a museum. I know that. I just call it that, Pete. Just 42 locked cabinets full of scary shit that's not open to the public.
That
Do you have
a museum?
Do you have a 43rd cabinet for your stuff? You should buy. You know what? That's what I would suggest. I suggest that you buy a cabinet and just leave it empty. You'll see there'll be stuff to put in there. It'll happen. Once you have the space for it, you'll find the stuff. Don't do it if you don't want the stuff. But yeah. If you want to see something, if you make the space for it. Vials of waterfall water are very small. They're easy to move around, so it didn't take a lot for me to do that. But yeah.
So we've got about 10 minutes of the show left, 15 minutes of the show left. What's your thoughts on aliens? I had to bring up aliens, Dakota. Come on, everybody wants to hear about aliens.
Oh, so aliens confuse me. And the reason why I'm confused by them is because when we see something that we can't explain, even if it wore a name tag, can we trust a name tag? So I am very aware that there are things that are beyond my understanding. I'm so acutely aware. But people, it was in that movie, the Santa Claus seeing isn't believing, believing is seeing. Okay, so if you take someone that is a super skeptic and you show them real, like you can bring them and say, look at this, and they'll say, oh, this was the wind, there was a high pressure and that cold spot created, and then this happened, and they will put together this crazy, impossible, like statistically impossible situation. Say that's what happened because that person believes science, which is I like science, but there are some TED Talks that have been removed where they talk about like the speed of light changing and things like that. So science is great, and I like science, but it is not by any stretch of the imagination the be all end all. Yeah. But they'll oh no, that's what happened here. And if you have someone that will say, like someone that goes to church, very religious, all right, in the Bible, there's angels and there's demons. And there's actually ghosts in the Bible too, but a lot of people don't know that, right? They just think it's all angels. Right, so if you show them a ghost, they're like, "Oh, that's an angel or it's a demon," and it's like, "Well, maybe it's a ghost." No, that's not possible. And the thoughts they carry on. You can have someone that believes in aliens and they see something and oh, well, that's an alien, but how do you really know? So I do not confidently classify anything that is obviously beyond my understanding, right? My dad saw a UFO on Puerto Rico. This could have been some extraterrestrial thing. It could have been, there's a military base right there on the island. It could have been some government thing. But I can't, I just know based on what he said, he did not understand what he was looking at. And when he described it to me, I also did not have any data where I could fill that in nicely, right? Yeah. So, is it possible that there are beings that are otherworldly? 100% possible. Do I think that they live on a different planet? I actually kind of think it's more likely that they're interdimensional, but but I will not discount that they might be from other planets. I don't have the data. It's just in my mind. It's like, I think this over here is a little easier, makes more sense. We have scientists now that talk about the Goldilocks zone. It's like, oh, well, there's actually a lot of them. Here's the thing. Yeah. Anytime scientists give me data that it would take faith for me to believe, I kind of just do one of these. I think it was St. Helens when it erupted. A scientist went and carbon dated it, and it was like, oh, this thing is thousands of years old, but we just saw this rocket made. And all these scientists in the community came out and were like, oh, we can't believe you did this for a publicity stunt because you know that carbon dating only works after 10,000 years. And it's like, I'm out. Excuse me. Which one of you is 10,000 years old? Okay. All right. So what you're telling me is when I go and check, it's impossible for me to prove carbon dating then. because we're going to
Yeah.
use circular logic to prove it. It's like, well, how do we know that this is 10,000 years old? Well, it's on this strata here. That's 10,000 years old. We can tell because I don't know. We found this animal that went extinct, and it went extinct 10,000 years ago. Well, how do you know it went extinct 10,000 years ago? Well, we carbon dated this rock. It's like that's circular logic. I can't. So I will believe science for things that I can see right now. Like even like I'm not even because there's like the microscopes and whatnot. It's not like a naked eye thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're telling me something where it's actually going to take faith I have to invest faith to believe in what you're saying, and then you're going to use that as evidence for something else that's faith-based. It's like, I hate to break it to you, but Hitchens' razor says that whatever amount of, we'll call it mental energy, was used to prove a point is all that you would need to disprove it. So at best, you've just zeroed out. But I'm not going to go and give you any more weight than I'd give this other thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not.
What's that? That's Pete put in the chat there. Gozer is freaking out. That's Mike's cat, isn't it? That's I thought it was Dozer. I misspelled it the other day. It is what you call it. Gozer is freaking out. I think he's weird, to be honest, you guys. I think all the weird anomalies tonight. I think all the weird things that's happened tonight. My internet turning off. I don't think that was Mike. I think that was the little girl actually, or whatever it is.
It's his birthday tomorrow.
It's his
wild.
birthday tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, on the show, to the naked Bigfoot, Mike, happy birthday, my friend.
Really?
Everybody raise your glasses up and
birthday,
let's
mate.
toast Mike, the naked Bigfoot. Happy birthday, wherever you are. One day I hope to see you again, but hopefully it's not like the night and you jump out a cupboard or something like that and give me a heart attack.
You know damn well he would do that.
You could do that to Super Horror Show the night when he goes to his bed. You can like play with his toes with the socks off and you're sticking out of the feet, you know.
Chris, do you have a foot fetish you keep expressing onto people?
That's the first time I mentioned foot fetishes.
Bull fucking shit.
That's the first time. Look, Pete put a post up the other day there. They're saying the strange creatures. And did you see that Super Horror Show about what Pete put up about the strange monsters with feet that hang over the bed?
Oh yeah, it increases your odds of something by something percent. Yeah, I do remember.
The eyes over the bed. Was that there? I remember that's Papa Joe's Adventures. I remember when Mike first got Gozer. Man, he loved that cat. Well, he's maybe way you the new. Pete, have a glass of moonshine or something like that to honour him. You know. I think he's going to keep. I think we will see Mike again. Each and every one is. I think we'll see. You know.
Thank you, Chad.
Chris, you've always talked about people. I don't talk about people.
Yes, you fucking did.
I don't.
You did.
I never did. I never.
Yes, you
I've
fucking
never mentioned
did.
that. I'm in like an alternate reality than now. When I was driving back
You've
from
been
the
talking
Indian
about
takeaway
feet,
tonight, was
people
about
dressing up in
sucked
pink
into-
unitards.
What kind of show did I get myself on? What have I
if you
done?
want to wear pink unitards, it's up to you. You know, if you're wanting to wear pink unitards, it's up to you. See, he's always going on about the women for Uranus that are purple with 3 breasts. Terrible.
Bullshit. That's again you.
But I would just like to say, Super Horror Show, thank you so much for coming on. And we'll need to get you back again one night. And Pete, in the chat, you need to come up and you need to go in Super Horror Show or something like that. You need to try and get Pete on your show.
He's got an open invitation. He really does. If he doesn't want to, he said one time he has a face for radio or something like that. Listen, we can just get you on just audio. It's not even a problem.
Yeah.
Back then, actually, when Mike was on, it was only audio just because that was the best I could do. We did it via Discord.
Yeah.
Now we connected.
Right.
Probably for the best because he was usually naked when he came on ours.
Oh, I know. I mean, a lot of folk didn't realise this, but Mike liked to walk over the hills and down the glens with his pretty flip-flops on.
Hey, if it's a nice day out, I don't blame him. It feels good.
Can you imagine being out your hill walk with the hikers for him to come out of that?
It's like, I'm looking for Sasquatch.
Oh, what's that? Smith Family Paranormal. You're talking about Uranus. Well, That's a lovely holiday vacation for some people.
Oh, this
Some
is how
aliens
you
like
know
it,
it's been a very long time that he has had a woman's touch.
It's okay. It's okay. He had to go and get a puncture repair kit the other day. Did you not get that? No, it doesn't matter. Oh God, super horror show. You're thinking, I think you're thinking, Jesus Christ, what have I got myself
See,
into?
we live up to we live up to the name, Bald and Bonkers.
Hey, I'm just happy I didn't get kicked off. I was like, either this is gonna be like the shortest.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Oh. Right on.
Oh,
Right
God.
on.
Oh my God, Mike, if you can hear me right now, I think you need to visit Super Horror Show tonight in the darkness, and also Dakota, because the two of them just deserve it that much, you know. Super Horror Show's got to be going to sleep the night with his crucifix and his garlic.
See, now he's talking about what happens to us in the night.
See that's the thing. See, I don't know. There could be a million ghosts come into my room at night and do the can dance, and I wouldn't know. I put one of the blindfolds over my eyes and I put earplugs in. I could have had
Thing's
thousands of
still
visitations, but there'd be nothing there.
It was spiking to the red. You guys, I know, like it's you know, you guys gave me the opportunity to plug earlier, whatever. Like, I don't even care about that. It was spiking to the red while we were in Concrete City. It was so bizarre, and it looked like it was sentient, like we were. It was just, and I have to actually create probably tomorrow like an intro for this thing where I explain. I apologize. We've never done this before, and then this happened, and we just wanted to like. I brought the thermal camera because the thermal camera is cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and then this stuff happened. And it looks really messy, and it is messy because what you're looking at is someone that's never done this before. Like that's what you're actually watching is I've never done this before, and like my wife said earlier, we've gone around the house. When we came back, we ran around the house to see if it would just start reacting randomly, and it didn't. We had to like up when it touched the TV, right? Then it was like, yeah, there it is. But is that a specific episode? I don't even know.
Everybody, no, I just put up your channel.
Oh,
I just put your channel up so that everybody can go to your channel. Is there anywhere else you're on? Are you on TikTok or anywhere else?
No.
I was about to say, you didn't send me any fucking links.
Well, I'll give you the links after, man.
No,
Chill,
No,
relax.
we gotta prep for the fucking show. You know how anal I am about this.
I know he's young, he's foolish. Right.
Excuse me for trying to make this shit look good.
Us two older guys, what age do you think he is?
I thought you said he was 150. He was ancient.
He's 140.
I look damn good, don't I?
Yeah, that's what I told my son. I was like, you should like when anyone asks how old you are, say you're 60 years old. You look great for 60. He's 15. Yeah. You look 60. That's what I tell. How old are you? 90. You look great. I know. You're like, how does he do it? I look terrible for 20, but excellent for 90. So yeah, it's a good spot to be.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going shortly. Dakota, what's the show tomorrow night? Are we talking about the elites and the bunkers? That's a good show for that.
Yeah, I got to thinking about it. You're wanting to do a little something about that, and with everything that's kind of going on in the world, and the fact that Lahaina still has shit surrounding it right now, I think that would be a good time that would be a good subject to talk about for tomorrow. So yeah.
I think you're getting a visitation tonight, Super.
I'm doing science because it was over the left shoulder, so I was like, well, I should put stuff over the right.
Mike's
shoulder.
got to be doing science for you tonight.
And see, yeah, I gotta do science because it was reacting over here like quite a bit, like the left shoulder.
That's so strange, that isn't it?
It did eventually like start screwing around over here, but it's much more likely on the left side. Like what? Why?
But that's probably just the shoulder he likes to hang over. I mean, that might be just the shoulder.
But that's the thing. If it was just the shoulder, right? I've got two of those, and my left shoulder is way less interesting than the right. The right is where that's where the scar is. I mean, there's no metal in there. It's I don't know. It's like bone screws or something. but it's not the kind that'll rip out in an MRI machine. So I don't even think that would do. But if again, that's what are we?
See, maybe it's a one-armed ghost.
He wants his left arm.
Where's my arm? I can't find that. I've been everywhere.
That's a great left arm.
It's in Mike's cabinet.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Mike. Don't visit me.
How the hell we haven't been taken down, I'll never know.
I know. It's the higher ups. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We'll talk to you behind the scenes or whatever Super Horror. And everybody, have a fantastic night. See you all soon.
Much love.
Bye-bye.
Take care, y'all. Well, welcome. Let's see if we actually get to stay on the air this time.
Well, last night my internet got turned off fully. Don't know who that was. It is Mike's birthday today, so if you're about Mike and the spirit of the elm, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Mike. We miss you, brother.
I would do miss you. Stephanie, welcome. Who's that strange person in there called Kota? I don't know who that is. Could that be? Simply Alan, hello. I've been looking forward to this subject tonight about the elites building the bunkers because I watched that film. Hey, Scottish Outlooker, I watched that film. Was it on Netflix? Is it When the World Ends? What's it called again?
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind. I leave the world behind. Right, sorry about that. I'm terrible with names. He kens. But I watched that tonight, and I'll tell you something new. See the symbolism in that. Oh my God! And I found actually stuff out about that will shock you to the core. Now, bear in mind, it was Obama that wrote that.
Yeah, so, the Obamas run their own production company. They're actually going to be doing a movie on Betty and Barney Hill.
But here's an interesting one. Remember on Netflix there was the train disaster movie that they did, and then it happened. Right.
Yeah,
and then the exact same place is where the place was staged. It happened. Right.
Aye.
Leave that world behind. I'll tell you something new. There's a lot of stuff that you guys do not. Hey, Lawrence, but there's a lot of stuff that you guys do not know in that. See the symbolism. Have you seen it yet?
No.
Right. There's a bit in it. There's a bit in it where the moon. It's the moon. The camera's on the moon, right? And you can see the earth, and the sun disappears behind the earth, and it causes. You know how you get a lunar eclipse. You know how you get solar eclipse. And it causes, is it the diamond ring it's called? You know what it's called? Well, it does that, right? And you think to yourself, why did they show that? Because at the start they show you space and all the satellites and stuff. When September of this year, right, just after supposed bunkers are finished, there is a total solar eclipse. And it makes you wonder, you know how they like to do these things, the Illuminati or whoever they are. What happens if this is them just telling you out loud that that's what they're going to do? There's going to be like because they've been putting the warnings out for a while saying, oh, the internet's got to go down. There's got to be 7 days of darkness. There's got to be 7 days of darkness. Or what happens if it's 7 days in the internet, no electricity?
This actually goes start into an area that I know of, the Illuminati's origins.
Yeah.
You do know how they managed to gain influence, right?
No, I don't actually.
The Bavarian Illuminati, a very intelligent group of people, realized that there was a solar eclipse on the way.
Yes.
And not everybody followed that science. So when it started going dark, they start telling everybody, now this is a simplification on my part. Follow us, let us be your leaders, and we will bring the sun back.
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody's panicking. They want the sun to come back. Think it's the end of the world. They fall in line. Sun comes back. Woo-hoo. Magic, mystical society.
But obviously, this is it's interesting how that movie came out, because obviously I'm waiting for part 2, because there is a part 2 in production, what I've been told. And in that, it shows you what happens. It's like the guy in it, the head guy, the main guy in it, he says this is a coup d'etat, this is an inside job, basically, right? You look at America right now, right? Now I'm just going to run something past you here. It's not just America, it's the UK too. Now, if you were going to take out America, would you also take out its allies? Because let's face it, if America became under attack, Britain would obviously rally to your aid, right? Because you helped us in the war, right? That's how it works, right? For your pals, right? So you would have to deal with us at the exact same time, and you would have to deal with France because they're allies too, they're part of NATO. You'd have to deal with all the kind of NATO countries all at once, right? How would you do it? How would you do it without using nuclear weapons? How could you cause as much pandemonium? And I think what's happening in America, it's the same as is happening here. Now, this is dodgy. This is really dodgy stuff we're getting into. Prepare yourselves, because look at your border now in Mexico. It's not just Mexicans that are coming out of the border, isn't it? It's Chinese and other people, right? So where are all these Chinese people coming from? That's coming from Mexico. That's what I don't get. Where are they? That's what I don't get. How come there's so many Chinese people coming over the Mexican border?
Easier port access.
Exactly. See, this is what I'm saying. China could be sending ships, cargo ships, to Mexico, full of basic troops. And if you look at all these people that are coming over the border, hardly any of them have got kids, women, and children with them. There are some, but a lot of them are young guys, young fighting age guys. You look what's happening in the UK now. It's mostly young fighting age guys, and the government, that's in the UK, are as if they want them here, because as soon as they come here, they're throwing people out of army bases that have always lived there, soldiers and stuff, and giving them their houses. And I'm surprised this doesn't get taken down. And they're filling all this up. Think about it. Because obviously, if you were going to pull something like this off in America, you would want it to happen in the NATO countries too, that would come to the aid of America. So at the exact same time, did you hear that? That was weird, that. the
What'd you
electrical
hear?
like an electrical kind of like. Bzz. It was weird.
Are you sure your headphones aren't frying?
Nope. They're new. They're new pair. I got a new pair the other day. They look exactly the same, but they're new. But put me off the start here. But think about it. It's like a Trojan horse. It's like cause trouble within the country. Think about it. Because if the internet goes down, right, let's just say it happens to America, right? The internet goes down. Everything's internet nowadays. No Facebook, no Snapchat, nothing. Nothing. Right? They could be like a Trojan horse. They could all start rising up and causing nothing but problems. I heard that I'm getting a lot of electrical interference when Chris talks. That's interesting, isn't it? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
See? It says, I think they're listening to us now. I don't care. Come and arrest me if you want. But anyway, they're doing the same in the UK. They're doing the... They're doing the same in the UK. Think about it. The UK is getting flooded right now with immigrants, right? And our Egypt Prime Minister's just like, oh, what the man. Do you know most of these people that are coming in, they've all got phones with them. They've all got phones. Or Samsung phones or iPhones, right? Most of them are iPhones, right? Where are they getting the money to pay for this? And this is no me talking, by the way, because it's happening in Ireland. It's happening big time in Ireland because they're having a lot of problems with them over there. Right? It's as if every NATO ally is getting flooded with these people right now. And it's like, if something goes down, if the internet goes down, how long does it cause? The British military will not be able to handle it. The British military will not be able to handle it. The French military will go under. The German military.
You do realize the science behind that, right?
What's that then?
There's an actual legit thing behind it.
Aye, there's a 3-step scenario to take out a country.
No. Here's what it is. And there's actual papers to validate this.
Yeah,
let's take it away from conspiracy a little bit more everyday scenario, right? Diversity in the workplace, right? Obviously, employers shouldn't, be discriminating against skin color naturally.
Exactly.
They shouldn't. But you know why they promote that diversity in the workplace?
Why?
They have found that people are less likely to unionize in a diverse workspace.
Really? I didn't know that.
The less likely they're able to come together, the less likely they'll be able to put up a fight against the managers that start their shit. Same science.
I mean, if you go back to the kind of like scenario, like a coup d'etat, right? What's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to knock out your enemy, right? Say, for instance, China and Russia and whoever else they are have all teamed up to take out the Western allies, right? America, right? And us at the same time. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take out their communications, aren't you? Because that is the first thing you're going to do. You're going to take out the satellites. And people think, oh, you can't shoot them down. Look, you could take out the satellites sitting in a wee shed somewhere with a laptop if you're a good enough hacker. Okay, you can do that kind of thing if it's right. If depending on how good the hackers you've got, you can do that, right? So you knock out the enemy, you knock out America and Britain's and NATO's communications, right? Then you start an uprising everywhere in the NATO's countries, right? Cause mass panic. There's no TV, there's no radio, nothing works because everything's digital now, everything's internet. You don't know what's happening. People turn on people. See, if you need water or you need food, you're got to turn on your neighbour. And you're sitting thinking, I would never do that to my neighbour. Really? Let's face it, it would happen. you would mass panic, and then that's when the enemy would strike. Because you think about it, it would cause civil wars. Place would fall apart. Mass chaos. It would basically do the job for you. Because that's what America does anyway, and Britain, obviously, and its allies to little countries. They just go in and do that to little countries, basically themselves. And everybody thinks that America and Britain's untouchable. No, it's not. No, it's not. Something's going to happen. What's that, Femoral Dials? We are talking about no nationals, no paperwork act, no rules, no law. What's that? A cargo ship arrived in Oslo with 14 minutes. Oh, wait, no, I just need to shout. Somebody shout on.
So Lawrence goes right. A cargo ship arrived in Oslo with 14. I think that's supposed to say immigrants inside a cooler container. Somebody inside the container called the British Coast Guard, which suggests they thought they were heading for the UK.
Just saw in the news today 6 foreigners have been. Oh, wait, the news.
You take out the stock exchanges, you would take out quite a bit. But if you really wanted to cause mass panic, you would want to bottleneck the people you were trying to eliminate.
Mass chaos. Look, we know the elite like to tell. We know that the elite like to tell us before the day what the day. You think about this now. Why is the guy that owns Facebook building the bunkers? And it's not just him. Come on, the guy Bill Gates, he's got a big bunker complex, and everybody thinks, there's just a couple of billionaires doing that. No, there's no. There's about what 30 billionaires right now, and they're all building doomsday bunkers.
All of these doomsday bunkers are starting to crop up right as the Epstein information starts to get rolling out.
See,
convenient timing.
Right. I'll admit that is convenient timing, right? But let's look at but let's look at this. Where are they building the bunkers? They're building the bunkers in Hawaii, that's part of America, isn't it? I don't know my geography for that.
Here's another thing, though. Speaking of Lahaina, because Chris is obviously very riled up tonight. Another thing with Lahaina is, obviously, we know the fire's still suspicious. There's absolutely no one being allowed into the destruction zones, not even insurance adjusters, to be able to basically appraise the amount of damage the people there lost so they can get the necessary funding to rebuild their lives, rebuild their homes. Yet they all want a nice tropical getaway when hell breaks over. You doing all right over there?
We're getting a new bathroom in the morning. My dad went for a shower and he couldn't find the shampoo because I went and taken it all out. Oh, come on.
Just making sure everybody's okay.
Everything's fine. It's funny as anything, but I'm just laughing at it. But look, that's an American state, right? You think about it. If you flee to a bunker, you can still get it out of there. Can you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Can you know what I mean? I just don't know. Do you hear that? I'm getting off of like interference, so you're not getting that.
No, I mean someone on your end.
It's like a digital. It's like a weird digital interference. You don't hear that? It's like it sounds like a mobile phone. Kind of when a mobile phone gets too close to the internet, it's going beep 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 beep, and it's really quick.
Yeah.
Maybe hear that.
I'm not hearing it.
Look at your signal dropping.
My signal's holding. You're the one that
your signal for me. Your signal for me is absolutely.
Your signal for me is.
That's weird, guys.
For me has been acting up.
last night, my internet just went off, and it was as if somebody had like flicked the switch.
Yeah,
That's weird. That's weird.
Scottish Outlook post. There's a 700-mile stretch, 1,000 meters under the North Sea, being used for mining fertilizer chemicals. Most probably a bunker. It was absolutely huge. Trucks driving around in it. Yeah.
See, look, it wouldn't take much to take out the internet. But let's face it, if you're going to take out a country like, say, China or something like that, right? And you're going to take America, right? You want to do as little damage as possible to take that out. Well, we know the Chinese like to build stuff, right? But look, you're going to want to take that country. You want to take it from an inside job, basically. And I know what I'm about to say. The nuke could probably land me in a lot of trouble if it was American, but I don't care. Your president has been known to be selling documents to the Chinese.
I know.
Old Joe Biden has been selling his country out. Look at his inauguration. Look at Joe Biden's inauguration. Everybody at that, 90% of the people at that were Chinese. That's what people don't tell you about.
It's the thing. It's not quite selling out. In a way it is. But
in a way it is.
It's also part of the debt recollection that China has over the U.S. We start forking over our assets when we can't pay the debt. Why do you think China's been doing so well lately?
They've been getting land. They've been getting parts of America. They've been buying up. Look at Bill Gates. He's been buying up fields after fields after fields after fields. Thousands of acres. Why? And he says it's because it's new genetically modified vegetables and all that kind of stuff. Nah, there's something there. I think something's going to get pulled off very soon. I think somebody's going to try something. There's people saying that I'm coming through like a Cylon or something like that.
I'm aware. I've been watching.
I think we're being watched right now. And
of course we are.
I don't particularly give a fuck. Okay, I mean, look, when anything goes down, it'll be us that'll be the ones that's targeted. No really me, because let's face it, in Britain, I mean, we're not exactly armed to the teeth like you Americans. I mean, but more like you, kind of thing. But what's that? Sounds like your end, Chris. I'm hearing a vibration when you talk. It's weird, that.
Yeah, it's because he's been trying out this new prostate thing.
Aye, I don't know if it's
causing feedback.
Is it my wig? Is it my wig here? Is my wait? I should have lined this with tinfoil. You know, I'm picking up the aliens. Just a joke, man. Simple Jack.
I say a prostate thing, and he pulls out a wig.
There's nothing wrong with a wig. Some people lose their hair, and some people need it. Again, somebody says to me the other day, there, I looked quite handsome in that. I says to them, I says, were you blind and on drugs at the time? But look, those bunkers that are getting made, I don't think it's for that island thing. And the reason I say that is because if they go there, what's stopping the police? Let's face it, they can take the doors off. They'll take them out. Okay, I mean, it's no hard. Trump could send, if he becomes president again, could send the Marines over there and take them out. Okay, I mean, it's no hard. Right?
Here's the thing. It's the thing, though. That will not be the first time a president has threatened military action against a facility in order only to have been shut down.
I'm going to say this. Right, we ken that Joe Biden's been selling inside secrets, right? I do think there's got to be an inside job in America. I really do think that. I do think there's going to be some type of insurrection in America, and I think it's going to happen in the UK. It's got to happen everywhere simultaneously. See, right, I'm going to name the European country they knew that's having problems with the other people. But I'm not going to name it in case the hackers come on or something like that. I mean, we have been giving them weapons, right? We've been giving them everything. We've been giving them tanks. It's as if, what is it?
Nothing. I'm just...
No, it's as if, I'm trying to trick myself so we don't get like hanged. But anyway, we've been using up our weapons. We've been using up our javelins and stuff like that, right? What happens if that is just an inside job? What happens if it is just an inside job? What happens if our British Prime Minister knows? What happens if the American president knows? What happens if all the kind of world leaders that are in this know that there's going to be an inside job, and when they do this, there's not be many weapons left to fight them back? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. It's a war by proxy.
What's this? Bald and Bonkers. Chris has you. I will ken something. I'll know be that. I'll know be that when the Chinese come to your door and drag you away.
Oh, I gotta work on my poker
It's connected
face.
to my Apple Watch. It's connected to my Apple Watch. I'm going to ask Siri what he thinks of you. Look, I know, Scottish Outlooker. Britain, our glorious leader that we didn't vote for, has gave Ukraine once again £2.5 billion.
Lovely.
Did you know that there's is it 1 billion that's unaccountable for? Did you know that?
Sounds about right.
And that's from the American side, by the way. It's went missing. Poof. Wonder where it went. Took you long enough. I know. Well, I don't look at the chat that much. I don't look at the chat. When I get into my kind of spiel, I don't look at the chat. That's why I never watch my show back. I never watch my shows back, ever. I don't like the sound of my own voice. It's weird. It's a strange thing. I don't watch my shows back. There you go. Son of the naked Bigfoot sitting in the Jeep near Dad's graveside listening to you guys. Oh, did you tell your dad for us happy birthday, Pete?
Our thoughts were with you, Pete.
Yeah. Your dad would have liked this show. Your dad was always kind of like minded.
You would especially love to ask about your Bluetooth butt plug.
I don't know. Pete's maybe into that kind of stuff. Pete, have you got a Bluetooth butt plug?
God. People on the podcast side, you should really come to a live show
and get me.
You just love pissing off everybody, don't you?
Well, last night I must have pissed off somebody because it kicked me off the internet and did something last night. It did something, you know.
No, all we need is just one little red laser dot. Pow!
Well, good luck to them. They'll need one of the guns that can see through walls or something like that. You know. Well, why kill me when they could just kill you, the owner of the company, and then that would be the end of it?
You're the one they can touch.
That's very true.
They'll touch you all over.
See, he's the one that gets taken away with the aliens, ladies and gentlemen. That's been, I don't know what he's been up to up there. With big tentacles and stuff like that, you know.
Even your tentacles, God.
Look, if aliens have tentacles, they're allowed tentacles. Are you racist towards aliens with tentacles?
No.
I can hear voices. Is that your mum? I can hear women talking.
That's the women of the house not shutting up.
That's that. For a second there, I thought that was the wife out of space there coming down to get you.
No, nothing that fun. And I didn't mean to sound misogynistic there. Just saying.
Yeah. You're right. I don't know what you get up there in the spaceship. There's a spaceship there. That's one of the spaceships comes down to get him at night. Takes him away, you know?
No. It's more looks more like the Bean, the Chicago Bean.
What is your opinion? What is your honest opinion, Dakota? On there, do you think there's something about to happen? Because everybody keeps going on about this internet and doing with solar flares and all that shit. It's not going to be a solar flare. When is the solar flare ever taken the internet down? I can, yeah, there was the Campton event, but there was the internet in the days.
Actually, here's the thing. Solar flares that were hitting us right around New Year's, Christmas and New Year's, have actually been causing problems still.
Really?
So it is possible for it to happen.
What's that? Mars needs women, angry red women.
Oh dear Lord,
Pete,
what did I just open up?
Pete, what are you thinking about?
To the woman of my life, I apologize.
What is Pete? Pete, come on the show, Pete.
I don't need angry women in my life right now. I've already just had to shovel out my driveway just so I can be able to get to work tonight.
I wouldn't bother shoveling. Just drive it. You just drive it. You Americans don't know how to drive.
The snow was packed up to above my bumpers, dude.
Be fine. He's got a long run at it. You know, he's got a back wheel drive and a rear wheel drive vehicle. You know, you get yourself a 4-wheel drive vehicle or something like that. You know, you get yourself like a 4-wheel drive, like a Jeep or something.
You paying for it?
No, well, if everybody donates right now, we can get Dakota a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Okay, first off, you're going to be one of those idiots. 4-wheel drive does not necessarily mean 4-wheel stop.
That's right. That's very
every
true.
Police district that's having to dig people out of ditches this time of year.
Yes, you get the SUVs that are 4-wheel drive, but you don't really. They aren't really 4-wheel. They are 4-wheel drive, but they're utter shit because they're just shit. They're no got low ranges like Land Rovers or Jeeps. See, Jeeps are quite good motors, and you can put them. You get like 4 different gear sticks in some of them. You can put them into a lower range and stuff.
Oh yeah, well, you also got to tell that to the people who think that their cars are amphibious and try to go on water that's about 3 feet high practically because it's been flooding so damn much.
I will say this: the weather has been quite atrocious. Now I don't know if that's maybe because the media is making it out that way. I mean, you get people on TikTok now waiting for the snow in Scotland. We're sitting here in the control room waiting for the heaviest. Look, it snows in Scotland. That's what happens. I mean, there's a couple of flurries outside, but I can just imagine what it's got to be like the more of the place. Folks screaming and shouting at each other because there's one snowflake falling for the sky. Yeah, I mean,
I know. And ladies and gentlemen, for fuck's sake, if someone's driving slow on the road when it's this cold out, no matter how bad the situation may be, no matter if the apocalypse starts tomorrow. Okay, if the apocalypse is going tomorrow, then yeah, bitch about the slow drivers. But come on.
Nah. Well,
drive to the conditions. Be safe. You know, the world's already getting ready to try to fuck us in the ass. At least a good buy dinner first.
I'm going to say this year is going to be diabolical. I'm going to say this year's going to be diabolical for everybody. I think change is coming. I think something, I'm not going to say biblical, is going to happen, but I do think there's going to be an event. Something's going to happen. Big time. What's that? Here we go. When it comes to 4-wheel drive, you have to know how to work the shift. Chris. Work the base. Well, Pete, that's coming from a man of
up and down.
From Pete. That's coming from experience, Pete. You're a man that knows your trade. Many a night you've probably sat in the hills, round about your farm in the darkness, playing with your shaft.
Oh dear God.
He's probably going to get his voodoo doll out tonight and say, right, I'm going to name this Chris. What can I do to him?
I'll give him hair.
It was your
I'll
fault,
give him
Pete.
hair and make him a bloody ginger.
Yeah, it was your fault, Pete. You brought it up. You know, Mike's ghost will come forth for now, start strangling me. You know? Oh my God.
Oh, I probably shouldn't put that on the screen.
I don't think you should put that up either, but I think you should. Fuck it. What's going to happen?
Hey.
Let's face it, we could all be dead in a year's time anyway. You know what I mean? You'll be
younger,
under
I have
control
more
by the
value.
Chinese and all. Huh?
I'm younger, I have more value.
They might keep you as like a sex slave or something like that. The Chinese when they take over.
Have you seen Chinese women?
I'm not talking about women.
Hey, you're the one that's into that. I wonder
You
why
and
people
Pete-
think you're gay.
I can see. What you call it? Oh my god!
There's
I've just had a
anything wrong
vision in
with
my head there.
that.
I'm damaged for life. I'm
Hey,
damaged
you're
for
the one
life.
putting the slapping the images into your head. I
It's
thought this
bloody
was
Mike
supposed
that
to be a
started
conspiracy show.
Mike started showing it. What's this show? What's this? Why does it ask to show Pete's comments? I don't understand that. I have to keep tapping on him. It's White Zombie song that you. I'm gonna be totally angry here, but I've never heard of White Zombie before.
I
What's
mean,
that?
I've heard of Rob Zombie, but
Is this
I've
like
never
some
heard of
type
this
of
before.
musical? You know.
I don't know.
But we're getting off the subject.
Yeah, way
Bunkers.
off.
But it just shows you, right? I mean, it just shows you how civilization could. Oh, fuck's sake!
What?
It shows you how civilization can fall, right? When the internet. Can you imagine all the women that can't get onto Facebook? Well, that's
Not
got to be
just
like
women, all the fucking teenagers.
TikTok.
Oh dear God. I mean, let's see. I don't know. Rob Zombie's band is White Zombie. Oh, I didn't know that. Fuck.
He's getting older now. He doesn't recognize the things anymore.
You wanted to talk. Mr. King,
I know.
Get a name right.
Hey, what do they do? I like 60s music and stuff like that. I like Pink Floyd. I like Dark Side of the Moon. I like AC/DC. I like Creedence Clearwater. You know, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my grandma
What's
was
wrong with
really into those.
Yeah.
She was,
Look
really.
That's
Still
what
is.
happens. It's one day you'll be in my situation. One day you'll be sitting here and there'll be a younger guy, and you'll be like, of course, you're my grandpa now and stuff like that, you know. I've probably been Chinese, mind you.
Well,
You know, but it's coming to that. I mean, the internet runs everything.
it does.
I mean, people don't realize. They say they can still last without the internet, but they can't. They can. They've made it so. I mean, you can still use cash, right? But how long's cash going to last you when the cash machine doesn't give you money?
Exactly.
whereas, right before the scenario, a loaf of bread's what $3, right? After the scenario, a week after the scenario, a loaf of bread's probably got to cost you a donkey or something like that. Kind of, so, well, that's barter on the trade. Have you seen that? You can actually buy gold money for the survival places. Again, this is sound weird, guys, but it looks like money. It looks like American dollars. It comes out in American dollars only now, but it's gold. It's got a certain amount of gold and like $10, but it's gold. And it doesn't matter how low the dollar drops, that's still worth what's that gold is. That's actually quite a good thing, that. But then people barter for it. You can like tear a wee bit off and say, right, I'll have that. And they take that and it's worth the gold. But I will say this, see these preppers and all that, they will probably survive a lot longer than like most is.
I told you so. I told you so.
But I'm going to say this the now. The preppers that you see on the internet that tell everybody where they stay will not last that long. Because everybody will know where they stay. Let's face it, right? You live in the street, right? And say you knew one of the houses in your street was a prepper, and he lived himself, right? And in that house there was 10 years supply of food. And enough supplies to keep about 10 people going for a long time, right? What would you do when you didn't have anything? You would go to that house, wouldn't you?
I would try to be friends.
Yes, you would be along with
friends.
everybody else in your town. Along with everybody else in your town would be friends, right?
Yeah, I try to be friends before the travesty happens, so that way, I'm more likely to be taken in.
Look at Pete, for instance. Pete lives up in the mountains, right? He's lucky. He lives in the middle of nowhere, right? I bet you Pete's armed to the teeth. Bet he is. Right? I bet you, but obviously because of Bigfoot, right? Right? But I bet you Pete is one of these kind of survivalists, right? He's probably got a basement, he's probably got his American flag up, and he's probably got his guns that he cleans every night and stuff like that. And he's probably got loads of food and stuff like that, right? So if the shit does hit the fan, he can survive for quite a while. But then you'll get the city people. You'll get the city people that flew the cities. And they'll see like a wee house in the distance in the hills with the windows lit up. And they'll think, that's where the problems arise, didn't it? You think about it, people say they would rather be in a city in a scenario like that. No, you don't want to be in a city. You want to be in your own island, as far away from MD as possible.
Very true. People suck, especially in those type of situations.
And people steal stuff. People take stuff. People steal stuff.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So,
unfortunately, it's not even shit that would be decent for survival. They would try to focus on like iPhones and laptops and shit. Not even stuff that you would actually need.
Again, that it's like all these mad disaster movies you get. Like let's take World War Z, with all the zombies running about, right? There's zombies running about everywhere trying to eat folk and stuff like that. But everybody's trying to steal the TVs. I mean, what's the point? What's the point of stealing a TV in a zombie apocalypse? What you got to watch on it? Nothing. Yeah, I mean, you do get looters. Looters is a big thing. As soon as the internet goes down, the police will be overwhelmed, and you'll get looters everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you should keep your doors locked. I'll even save you locking your doors. But yous are lucky in America because us in the UK are not even allowed a penknife within a certain size.
Yeah, very true.
Yous can keep like guns in your houses and stuff like that. So if somebody breaks into your house, you just shoot them, didn't you? Well,
depends on what state.
Try and scare them first. It depends what state you're in. Aye, but let's face it, if society's breaking down and there's small mushroom clouds in the distance and there's people running up and down the streets screaming and there's Chinese troops falling for the air, I don't think it's really going to matter if you shoot someone that breaks into your house, is it?
Yeah, here's the thing though. There's several states here that interprets grabbing a gun because you believe there is a home intruder as premeditated murder. Even if it was some frail single mother with very small children in the house, guns down at home intruder who fully intended on killing her and the kids, she would be charged for murder. They would still try it because they don't know what else to do. They're so convicted into these simple ass mindsets, these simple programs in their brains to just eat, sleep, and fuck, that they're not going to know what to do.
Yeah. Society now, I don't think could, right. See, maybe in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, they could have survived an event like what you're talking about, right? 1980s, when technology started to roll out, probably survive it then because there was no internet until the later 1990s. So, probably into the early 90s, you could probably have survived it then too. But because everything is internet based now, I mean, everything's internet based. Look at self-driving cars and all that kind of stuff. That could be turned into a weapon. On that thing in Netflix that I watched, it was quite interesting. It showed you a bit where the planes were flying into buildings, right? The pilots couldn't do nothing. The planes were doing it themselves. They were using the planes as weapons. And that makes you wonder, because you think to yourself, if the planes can fly themselves and they can be hacked and all that kind of stuff, it takes you back to like September the 11th.
Mhm.
Think about it. And you think to yourself, the buildings get hit with planes, and then the Pentagon was hit with a plane, but I don't think it was a plane. I think it was something else. I think it was something else that hit it. And then there was a plane that flew into the ground. But what happens if the pilots couldn't control it? What happens if it was all computers?
That would have to be military grade equipment, because the Wi-Fi on board those planes at about that time was non-existent. Let's face it.
The planes that flew, this is very controversial because I kind of a lot of channels get taken down for the stuff like this, but just talking about this, and you think they would want people to talk about these things, right? But obviously it just shows you the conspiracy theories, the things that like September, yeah, I mean, what happened. But one of the planes that flew in to the big thing, I'm not going to name who it was or where it was, we all know where it was. One of the planes, because if you capture it, there's like a news crew doing like a documentary or something. I can't mind what it was. There was like a fire station. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? Where the plane flies over and the fire brigade are doing something. And the guy pans up and it sees the belly of the plane flying in, and it had something underneath where the wheel comes down. It actually had something underneath it. And still to this day, nobody, exactly in the chat, nobody to this day knows what that item was that was underneath that aircraft. It was like a box. It looked like a box underneath the fuselage. The planes don't have that. I was talking to a pilot, and I says to him about it. I says, would it be possible? He says, today, you could do it no problem with no pilots. And then you see the new new Boeing that's out.
Mm-hmm.
You can basically, that thing will taxi to the takeoff point for you. It does it all for you.
Mm-hmm.
You take off. All you really need to do is maintain that plane and land it. But if push comes to shove, if the system takes over, it can fly into basically anything.
Very true.
Look, what is it? Papa Joe is out there. He was talking about when he was on the plane, those things, and he was saying, it's that Tim said, because he was on that plane when the UFO event, he said that those planes can fly themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Basically fly themselves. As soon as that plane's in the air, that thing can be flown by itself.
Very true.
So what's to say that those planes that flew into those big buildings weren't guided at that time? What's that? People are desperate in some... What's that, Lawrence? Don't care to come down to the local folk to go out to help. I know. The government, look, I'm going to say this now. When the shit hits the fan, all your tax money is paid for luxury bunkers for the elite. I'm just going to tell you that right now. They're not going to be bought.
Lawrence makes a good point. Several governments of the world just don't care, and more often than not, like gas prices as an example. You always see those start to come down just in time for election season, right?
Aye, I know.
The local folk, it would require the local folk coming together to help each other, and maybe to an extent they will. But look at what happened with the pandemic. Towards the beginning, when everybody was just trying to figure out what the hell's going on, people did try to help each other. They were courteous. There was actual kindness. We were all trying to, power through. But then again, that was only because we expected it to last 2 weeks. No virus is just going to up and disappear for 2 weeks. If it starts to pull out that tech, where's that tech been all this time?
Yeah. I think we all know what really happened with the jibby jabby
Oh.
or whatever we want to call that. We all really know what happened there. That was just
Mr. Fooch. Mr. Fooch has there's stuff coming out that he's starting to admit that he BS'd it. There's stuff starting to come out.
And we all know that, I mean, in the UK, I don't know about the US, but there's a lot of people died for strange, and seemingly it's always happened in the winter time. Seemingly people take heart attacks, like even young people. Seemingly it's always happened. We've just never noticed it, you know.
Well,
thank God I never got it. I'm unvaccinated.
You're not wrong. I've had relatives die while shoveling snow, and they've all had heart issues because they were temperamental assholes.
I mean, let's look at the younger people in the UK, the football players that have just dropped down dead. Young, fat,
very true,
healthy.
Well, here's the thing, though. You were comparing earlier. You were comparing, how it was basically like right up to the 70s that you start to see a shift. In humanity, you see technology slowly starting to come in. It's very true, but it wasn't really that practical quite yet, at least on the civilian level. You also got to take into consideration roughly about the 80s and 90s. That's when junk food really started going off. That's when there was more GMOs in food.
Pesticides.
They say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. If you were to compare the nutritional value to about almost 70 years ago of the average apple you get at the grocery store to what you would get now, it's up to 50 apples. Now, granted, 50... the one way you get 50 apples to keep a doctor away is if you're throwing them at him.
I'm going to say this now. When you buy apples and stuff for the grocery stores and stuff, wash them.
Yeah.
Wash them.
Some of the color comes off.
Some of the color comes off. Some of it's got wax on it, and some of the wax that's on it has got like weird chemicals in it that will definitely give you cancer.
Well, it doesn't give you cancer though these days.
Everything gives you cancer. I mean, look at the cell phones that we've got.
Cell phones,
radiation,
enjoying the stars, being out in the sun for too long, being in your car for too long, sitting in these chairs for too long.
Yeah, getting jibby jabby dupes. Oh look, it's time for your 27th jab. If you get your 27th jibby jabby, you get a free heart attack. It's like club card points, isn't it? It's like the 27th one, you get like a free heart attack.
27 punches in your skin, you get one free cardiac arrest. What, are they going to put handcuffs on my heart? What?
I bet you they take this video down. I bet you they take it down for the main site.
Yeah, but that's also why we're back to Bundle, Rumble, and BitChute. Or BitChute or BitchShoot. I don't know.
Yeah. I've noticed lately that. What was that, by the way, in the Bald and Bonkers chat? Did you see that last night?
What one?
It was in the Bald and Bonkers on Facebook. Did you not see that?
What?
There was something saying that Facebook was going to be taking the Bald and Bonkers page down.
Yeah, a lot of pages are getting that.
Is that what that is? I don't think that's for Meta.
Yeah.
I don't think that's for Meta. I think
dude, no shit. No shit. Yeah, a lot of pages are getting that. A lot of groups are getting that. And it's another form of scam. And speaking of, hacking, you just made me think of something.
What's that?
All right. You know how they had those AI voice cloning software, right? Mm-hmm. Where unless you have a Scottish accent, say about 3 to 5 up, so roughly about 3 to 5 or 10 minutes worth of recordings, you can almost perfectly replicate just about anybody's voice. I say Scottish accent because I used his recordings of his voice to try to break it. There's reports coming out. From what I've seen, it's mostly out of the U.S., but I feel like this should probably be addressed because it sounds, unfortunately, these reports are sounding pretty legit. people are reporting that they're getting calls from strange numbers of their loved ones saying that they're in some sort of financial crisis. And here's the thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The voice that comes through sounds exactly like whoever they're trying to imitate. Say, like, I don't know, you get a call from a strange number, you answer it. I don't know, maybe you're waiting for a job application or something, and it's your mom saying that, you know, she's been arrested and she needs bail and all this shit. That's starting to happen.
You should get your family back. You should get your family to have like a code word or something like that.
But here's the thing, again, Chris, like I said, it usually takes about some software I've seen usually takes about 3 minutes worth of recording. Some could take up to 10 minutes. But still, how are they getting those recordings? And how are they associating them with the right people?
They're getting them. That's a good point. They're probably getting them. They're probably getting them to Facebook or whatever. They're selling them.
One thing if it's like content creators or major players, or like podcasters and stuff like that, people are going out. Yeah, it's been going a while. And I heard it a couple of weeks ago, but I brought it. Chris mentioned that something, and it just brought it up. I thought it would be perfect. We got to take into consideration AI is not necessarily good or bad. It's a tool, but in the wrong hands, AI is doing some serious damage already.
Yeah.
So if you manage to tune an AI just right, that's going to be the problem, because it's going to be able to move faster than any human can process.
Of course it can. I mean, we've also got the robots, Ted, that Tesla's building. I heard something stupid the other day about seemingly a robot attacked a Tesla worker.
Okay, it wasn't an Optimus bot.
No, what was that?
It was true. There was an incident but it was also 2 years old by the time people started reporting on it.
Right.
The dude's okay. He survived. But it wasn't an Optimus bot. It was, I believe it was actually at a Tesla factory, and it was one of the robotic arms they used to build the cars.
See, I don't trust robots and stuff like that because they could turn on you. They could.
It makes you wonder. You have all these AI chatbots that are going out about now, and people being absolutely abusive to it. So kind of have to sympathize for the robots at that point.
Yeah. I think I'm going to, my predictions for this year, something as big is got to go down, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's war in the Middle East. I don't know if it's another virus. I doubt it's another virus. It's got to be something. They'll do something to stop the election. I'm telling you, they'll do everything in their power not to let Trump back.
Did you hear? Speaking of the election here in the U.S., in the state of Illinois, Biden was found having not used a legitimate Illinois-based notary for his documents, so he is ineligible to be put on the ballot for election in that state now.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like, gee, Biden not playing by election laws?
But let's face it,
heard that
the last election was rigged, so...
You want to know something? It's funny when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
If Robin Williams was still alive today and saw that shit, it's Robin Williams movie, Man of the Year. Electronic-based election ballots. Think about it. There was some sort of glitch in the algorithm where it was alphabetical based, and the person whose surname happened to be first in alphabetical order, that's my phone, I apologize, won the election. And now there was a woman on the inside of the company who tried to address this glitch, but her CEOs went as far as hiring someone to drug her, make her look delusional, completely discredit her credibility. It's a very good movie, but if Robin Williams was alive to see that shit happening, I would love to hear that comedy bit.
Yeah. I'm going to say this now. We know that the US election with Biden was rigged. I'm going to be totally honest with you, by the way. I don't think he's in charge. I honestly do not think he's in charge. I don't think he's capable. I mean, have you noticed how he walks? Have you noticed how he walks? He's like a bloody puppet. He's like somebody at Thunderbirds. He's like...
You want to know what he kind of looks like? I'm going to say this. And I've said, no,
he does.
Honestly, you want to know what it looks like to me?
What?
It kind of looks like someone who's gone through physical therapy after a stroke.
Yeah. But I've heard that there's actually a few lookalikes. He's got quite a few lookalikes.
It's also alleged. Granted, I first heard about this in the movie, but apparently it's true to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
There are several major political figures, president included, that do use lookalikes that are given free plastic surgery to basically make the resemblance more closer to use for like promotional shoots.
What's that, Lawrence? Who will step? What's that? Who will step
up?
What's your opinion, Dakota?
Honestly, for how chaotic the world's just been in the last few years, it's one of those things we're going to have to wait and see.
I'm going to say this about how you say about have you seen the close-ups Biden's face? How sometimes he's got like no wrinkles here, and then sometimes he has got wrinkles, and then there's bits where like the bottom of his neck looks like it's one of the, what do you call it, the rubber masks. You ken the ones I'm talking about, the really expensive, the really, really expensive movie industry rubber masks.
Those visual effects artists are damn good at what they do.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit. And like I said, I first heard about it through a movie, but apparently it's legit. It was Olympus Has Fallen.
That's good.
A very, very good movie. I haven't really seen anything with Gerard Butler I didn't like. But that presidents, major political figures, will sometimes have body doubles who already look like they could be relatives. But they either use plastic surgery or the special effects team to try to match the likeness closer. So that way, someone who isn't paying attention won't know the difference.
Got a question for you. When's the last time you seen Hillary Clinton on TV?
Not in a long time.
Have you seen what she looks like now?
She's gotten old.
Old isn't the word.
A little bit more. I'll admit she's been a little bit more since her and Bill have been named several times in the Epstein flight logs.
Yeah. I mean, she looks horrendous now. She looks absolutely... It's as if the virgin's blood ran out or something like that. I mean, she's not getting the blood bath she usually gets to keep her looking young. She looks hideously terrible. I seen it on that Russell Brand was going on about it. Oh shit, I mentioned his name. They'll be after us now after mentioning his name. But he was going on about it. He put a photo up the other day and I was like, holy shit.
Well, let's think about it. Look at before and afters of just about every U.S. president. Before they went into office, after they went into office. Obviously, high stress position. Stress is going to affect your appearance. Can you imagine all the shit the Clintons are tied to? It's every day. It seems like it's getting a little bit closer to the edge to where it all comes out. How much stress she is under, because everything she has done is about to come out.
I don't think it will come out there. I don't think it will come out, and the reason I don't think it will come out is because she knows too many secrets. She does know too many secrets. Exactly. And she knows too many secrets about too many powerful people, and the powerful people will protect her. It's like the case. It's like the case. It's like Jimmy Savile in the UK. He was protected by the Queen and the whoever Prince Charles and all that. And then when he died, it all came out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He was protected.
Well, here's the thing: the people that are that were protecting him, that net's closing.
I will say this: Trump never changed when he was president. Do you notice that he got a wee bit oranger, but he didn't really.
Yeah, it looked like he was using a little bit more spray tan, but that's about it.
He did. How much do you reckon he drinks? I didn't know this. I was watching some about him the other day. That he drinks about 17 or 18 cans of Diet Coca-Cola a day. I'm serious.
That doesn't surprise me.
Gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He goes to his bed about 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. It takes him an hour to get ready in the morning because he's got to get tanned up, obviously.
Yeah.
You good there, but right. I kind of lot of folk don't like Trump, right? I think he's all right, but I do think he's eccentric, right? But let's look at it this way: when Trump was in office, were we at war with him? There?
Not really. No, he was trying to stop it.
No. And yeah, I mean, North Korea was talking and stuff like that, and honestly, I'm going. This is my prediction this year. Old Joe is going to do something to stop him becoming president. He'll do something. I'm telling you.
Why do you think he's being indicted so damn much?
Nah,
that's part of it. Part of the legal proceedings behind becoming U.S. president. Those indictments are an effort to try to stop him.
I'm going to say this for the elites out there. I don't think they'll ever watch your stuff anyway. But if Trump becomes president, you guys are fucked. Because he's going to get
the main rally right now seems to be behind Robert Kennedy taking office and Trump being a main advisor, or at least Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
But
that guy,
like I said,
Kennedy will
we'll
make
see
it
what happens. I know. The main thing that's working against him is his voice condition. He actually has to take steroid injections into his throat in order to clear it up.
Well, I hope he becomes president then. I hope nothing happens to him like John F. Kennedy. Because let's face it, something happened to him. I don't think it was who it was that done him in. I think it was somebody else. Because you notice everything changed then. Everything changed.
Yeah, because Kennedy was one of the ones who was putting up a fight against what's going on now. He tried to warn everybody that what we're seeing now was going to happen.
I think the world was a totally different place. I think he would have come out about the aliens. I think he would have. I think the world would have been a totally different place. And it's money, greed, and oil. Yeah.
Yeah, we probably could have been caught up to the infamous lost century of technology.
It's going to take us a while to get that back. Because let's face it, we're using these electric cars and they're utter shit.
Yeah.
I'm no for electric cars. I think they're the biggest waste of money in the history. Look, if you live in somewhere like a city like California or somewhere like that, maybe they're all right. But see if you live in Scotland and stuff like that, and where you have to have a heaters and you lose nearly 90% of your battery because it's snowing outside. Get what I mean? The rubbish.
No, I wouldn't want to put it on the coastline because of salt water.
Have you got a cat in your room?
Yeah.
I just wondered, because that your backdrop there moved the way out like that and then moved the way back in.
Yeah, I thought I shut the doors all the way, but the cat's been coming in and out. See, they're there.
I do know cats like to nibble wires and stuff like that. They're probably gnawing away at your connections as we speak.
No, I already about near killed one of them because I saw he was eating one of the cords to my security cameras that I have up.
So it's the end of the show once again. Next week, what's the subject? Oh, we've got Leonard Lowe coming on next week, haven't we?
I That we do.
Yes,
that we do.
We do. We have Leonard Lowe. He's wanting to talk about hauntings, violent hauntings, poltergeist activity, stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think for the 21st, I know some of you have probably heard about the tunnels that were found underneath New York. Chris and I were talking about it just before the show.
Well,
from what I've read up on that situation, I think it'd be more appropriate if we take some time to research it. But I think maybe we'll talk about that. Anyway,
we'll talk about that. There was something I was going to say something because I'm sure I'm a guest on Jenny's shows on what do you call it, quiz night, because you couldn't do it.
Yeah, I'm booked that night.
But you're booked.
Mm-hmm.
What night's that? That's Friday night, isn't it? No, it's Saturday night.
It's Saturday.
Is it Saturday?
Yeah, the 20th is Saturday.
Oh well, we'll fix it. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Because I can't remember.
It's like, no, Friday's my birthday.
Oh, it's Friday your birthday. It's Friday.
Yeah, I'll be 139.
130. You look good for your age. Jenny, when can message me when's your quiz night again? Because I've went stupid. It's too much Iron Brew.
Lulu wasn't asking me about it.
I've just noticed something. I've just noticed something about Iron Brew. It's the same color as Trump.
Well, he does like to spend a lot of time in Scotland.
Mm-hmm. Tried to buy somebody's puss. Kenny Hofer. He's tried to build a golf course.
And doesn't he already have a golf course over there?
Aye, but he wanted to make it bigger, and there was a guy in a house, and he offered him like £10 million for this house. It's like worth 70 grand. And he wouldn't sell because he loves sitting there, staying there.
All right.
I'd be like, I'd be running up. Give me the money. Give me the money. You know? Bugger. Why can I not own that house? You know? But what you doing? You doing anything special on your birthday? Anything?
Weather pending. Maybe go out for a nice dinner, but again, it's gonna be weather pending because it's saying we have even more fucking snow on the way. God damn it.
Well, I hope you have lots of snow because you can love the snow, blizzard conditions.
Snow is fine when I don't have to drive in it.
Yeah, that's the joy, the joy.
Of course.
Right?
That's the joy of living in Idaho.
It is the joy of living in Idaho and the joy of living everywhere else. So everybody, catch you all later. See you next week and have a fantastic week and be safe out there,
Much love. Take care.
The purple aliens will get you.
You and them purple women.